Howdy peeps, hope you're doing well. Hopefully this should be a relatively short and sweet video, and as always it's something that I've definitely got something to say about. So this is from Sky News, and they're saying that campaigners are calling for all police forces to record hate crimes against women, a move that the Prime Minister has said would put an extra burden on the officers. Absolutely it would. But you see, that ain't the problem. That ain't the problem. The problem is, how do you prove it was a hate crime? How do you prove that? And I'll tell you where this will go. It's going to be, well, it happened to a woman. Now this is kind of in addition to this whole thing of making women feel safer. So what are they doing, basically, right? Well, they're helping break up that divide between men and women and causing yet more aggro, right? If you think about the laws as they are, right? Let's not even talk about that side of it just yet. Let's talk about basic laws that have been passed over the last sort of 5 years, right? So, in Nottinghamshire, believe it or not, wolf whistling at a woman is considered a hate crime. Right, it's illegal for you to wolf whistle. Right? It's just even if you were just having a whistle by yourself, and they decided that it was aimed at them, they can report you for it, and they can have you arrested, and it gets recorded as a crime. The other one, this is another one. This whole, if a woman feels that the way you are looking at her is harassing. Right? Now, this could be anything, really. It's because it depends on how the woman feels at the time. So if she's having a real bad day about something and wants to take it out on someone, she now has the power to do that. She can literally just like pick a guy, any guy, and as always, it's not going to be the good-looking guy that she fancies or whatever. It's going to be someone that she doesn't fancy, or it might even not be that way around, right? But the point is, it still comes with a shit ton of unwarranted power and absolutely zero responsibility based on feelings by an individual at that time. So, what is fair about that? Like I said, if they're having a bad day and they want to take it out on someone, there's enough people out there that do that in this world, you know? And it's not like false accusations isn't a thing anyway, is it? You know, but they ruin the guy's life, and doesn't matter. Nothing ever really sort of comes of that, does it? For the women, there's no, very rarely do they get thrown in prison and have their life ruined in a similar fashion. No, it just gets swept under the carpet, and yeah, that's one of the things that really pisses me off about this so-called justice system. But now with this one, like I said, where's this gonna go? You know, how do you, okay, so it's recorded as a hate crime against a woman. What about when it happens against a guy? Right? And like I said, regarding the making things safer, making women feel safer when they're out and about, I bet you there's a huge amount of young lads that are getting hospitalised, beaten up, stabbed, all of that on a regular basis. It just is what it is, right? It just happens all the time. Nothing ever gets mentioned. But as soon as, in this instance, because this is all to do with, it's not solely down to the Sarah Everard situation, that has played a big part in it. And it does come down to that where, you know, it's if like women were stepping outside their door and then getting like an abused, it's like straight from the bat, then yeah, even I'd be like, okay, there's definitely 100% a problem. The truth is, a lot of the time, the disparagement, the difference between the figures of guys that are getting beaten up by other guys, right? That's not even including like relationships where the woman is the abusive one, because again, you're not really supposed to talk about that. You know, but because you're not allowed to, right? Because if you do talk about that, then you just hate women, right? That's what it boils down to. And like I said, this, in my opinion, is only going to make way for more, and I'll say it for what it is, more anti-male laws. Yeah, and again, a lot of the time it's the police who have to prove that it was a hate crime. If it's a hate crime, now sure, they can have legislation for like hate speech, and admittedly, I kind of don't agree with it. I believe speech should be free speech, and that's it. It's like you have the choice to listen to what people say and not listening to what they say. And I really should put this damn thing on silent when I'm doing videos. Anywho, but yeah, I think it's just going to cause more of a bigger problem, because again, the amount of women out there, and even if it is a small percentage, and there was that feminist, and I can't remember her name because I don't quite like. I'm not in agreement with a lot of them, unfortunately. Whereas one of them just blatantly, openly, flat out said, this is after a guy had his life ruined by a false accusation, and she turned around and said that's basically okay. No, it's not basically okay. Otherwise, in saying that, then you could just easily, in feminism being about equality, yeah, right. Now there is an oxymoron. And whereas, all right then, so every crime that happens from a woman to a guy, that is also a hate crime, and that should be recorded. And that is what the Prime Minister, because you can't have one gender, as it were, having some sort of privilege over the other. It's like they've chatted about patriarchy since like forever, and it's like, look, patriarchy does not apply to the working class, which is what a lot of people are nowadays. Then again, there's also segregation of classes, which is also a thing. Feminists, generally speaking, are middle to upper class, whereas what a guy's seen as, for the most part, we're seen as working class. Manual labourers, that sort of a thing. But hey, but yeah, I can see nothing but problems coming from this one, if I'm honest. If they do make it a thing, like I said, it's going to make more hassle for the cops. That's what it's going to do. It's going to give them more paperwork, which means they're then going to be complaining that it's happening more often, because the cops can't actually get out to the streets to do the job that they're supposed to be doing in the first place, because they're so inundated with paperwork. They're too busy recording things as hate crimes, which a lot of the time are not. And besides, that should be down to a court to decide. Whether, and again, a full-on investigation, which realistically would take far too long and fruitless, when it's just easy just to throw the guy in prison and tell him it's his fault, whether it is or isn't. That just seems to be the sort of narrative. So, and with that, there's people out there say, oh, well, the decent men gone. It's like, well, seriously, when you got that shit to contend with, do you seriously have to ask where they're going? Bearing in mind that you could be whistling, minding your own business, whistling Dixie, and someone decides that, harassment, call the old bill. Or you looked at the wrong way, or they felt that you were looking at them the wrong way. Eye rape, right? You get done for that. It just seems that they're getting more and more powers, which are ultimately just going to destroy more and more innocent men's lives. Because it's very rarely is it the air quotes bad guys that actually get sent down for it. It's usually innocent bystanders. It's just crazy. But this is just it. This is where it's heading. People don't see the other sort of side of it. I mean, talk about being a protected class. Really? But screw all men, right? Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, thoughts, comments and opinions, feel free to jot them down as always. Until the next one, stay cool, stay free. Peace out. And needless to say, we'll see how this pans out, but laters.